much for Thank you so much for joining today, Chair Yoga. I'm Mindy, and we're going to be energizing our bodies and loosening up today so we don't feel so stiff in our bodies. So we're going to be moving a little bit today through all of our joints and all of our muscles, all those good things. Show of hands, how many people feel like they meditate, have done meditation in the past? Right, some have, some haven't. Well, I think sometimes people can get a little bit overwhelmed with meditation, feeling like it has to be more involved than it really has to be. Really, most people, when they hear meditation, we think we have to completely clear our minds, which for me is an impossibility. I'm always going to have some thought or another, and that's okay. It's not about having no thoughts. It's about slowing down the thoughts. And what I've learned about meditation is really we want to slow down our minds, because our minds can have a thought, and if we're having many thoughts, ruminating on negative thoughts, then that can transfer into our bodies and cause tightness and dis-ease sometimes if we let that stress fester too long. So we want to slow down our minds, and for me, that's much easier to accept than having no thoughts, right? So for an example, with your worries, you might think about you have to go to the store this afternoon, and when are you going to go? You're going to go at 9? Are you going to go at 4 o'clock? Well, you also have to take your pet out for a walk. Oh, by the way, they need to go to the vet, and so you can be thinking about all these different rabbit holes, right? It's how a monkey mind works. You start on one thing, or you know what, you're on 5 other thoughts. What happens when we meditate is we try to clear the mind a little bit by taking pauses. So we have the thought come in, we need to go to the grocery store, pause, then maybe think I have to walk my dog, pause, right? And so we have a thought, we slow things down, and another thought goes in instead of chasing down the rabbit hole of many thoughts, right? So acknowledge the thought and then maybe just sit and pause before the next thought comes in. Try not to go down the rabbit hole, the many thoughts. So basically, meditation is gap between the thoughts. That's what we want. Slowing down the process of the next thought coming in. And we can do that by taking long, slow breaths and focusing more on the breath and less on the thoughts. That makes sense. So the process of slowing the thought that comes in, and then there's that little bit of the gap. We want to make sure we have that. And the longer the gap is, the more stillness we have in our minds, and more you can enjoy peace of mind, right? So we can even give that a try. So let's sit tall in our mountain position. We can close our eyes and breathe just for a few moments. And in a few moments' time, just depending on the person, you can have 100 thoughts or you could have 10 thoughts. It doesn't matter. When we do have a thought, we just want to acknowledge it and say, I know I have to do that. Now let's stop there. Have a gap, and then the next thought comes in. So let's find some deep breaths in through the nose, out of the mouth. Grounding ourselves in our spot. Soften our face a little bit, maybe even separating our teeth. Now maybe just with this next breath, notice what it feels like to bring air in through the nose. If the sinuses feel clear, we can breathe in and out of the nose. If not, we can use our mouth. Just make sure that the breath is going all the way down to the lowest lobes of the lungs. And imagine how deeply the breath can travel into the lungs. When we're focusing on the slower breath, the thoughts come in slower and much more easily we find that gap between our thoughts. As we exhale, we can exhale and imagine that some toxins or something we would like to release is coming right out with the breath. It's a beautiful cleansing process. Now, next breath, let's see if we can imagine filling up our whole rib cage as if there was a balloon in our rib cage. Good. And then also feeling the belly distend as we inhale, expand, and then exhale. So every breath in, we're nourishing and cleansing our organs. And when we exhale, remember that belly comes in a little bit. So a few more breaths like this, nourishing all of the insides of us with that oxygen, that prana. And then maybe closing our eyes to allow us to tune in a little bit more inwards so we're not so distracted. And the less distracted we are, the less likely we are to travel down the rabbit holes of the many thoughts, right? Good. And then eyes open. We can do meditation while we're walking. We don't always have to have our eyes closed. It's just while we're walking, we can slow our breath. And instead of focusing on the mind, maybe focus on the beautiful sunlight, the trees, the flowers, the people, maybe children playing outside, just focusing and meditating on bringing your awareness to what's around you in nature. It's a really nice way to calm the central nervous system, being outside in the sun. So meditation doesn't have to be seated in the chair, and it doesn't have to take long. Just long enough for you to slow the central nervous system down and train your mind not to focus on negative looping thoughts, but instead train your mind to focus on either your breath, the temperature of the room, or something externally outside. And odds are you'll feel much, much better if you are anxious or worried about something. Then once we're done meditating, we feel really nice. We might still have some tension in our body, so we can stretch out and use our breath. So inhaling, sitting tall, and then exhaling, lowering the chin down. So we tilt the chin, let the head lower to the chest. While we pause here, we'll gently shake our head side to side, like we're saying a gentle no. So back and forth, noticing the back of the neck, feeling a nice stretch there. And you pick your pace, doesn't have to be quick, just go back and forth. And then next time the head is in center, hold down here, let's soften our shoulders, take our arms to the side of us, and lower the right ear to the shoulder. The left arm is going to come out midway between shoulder and hip height. And just imagine you've got weighted rings. So you're reaching out toward the floor at a diagonal. Good. And then start circling that left arm. Fingertips down, little circles one way. Good. And then pause and flip the palm up and take your little circles the other way. Excellent. And then we'll place our hand on our lap and roll our chin through center and go to the other side. So the left ear is over and the right arm reaches out at a diagonal, really stretch there. Again, it's like you've got weighted rings on your fingers. So the right hand draping down, let it sink down first. So we want this nice long stretch on the right side of our neck. And then we can start the little circles forward. They don't have to be big. And they don't have to be fast, just enough to release the tension we store in the neck. And then we'll get the circulation into the tight space at the front of the shoulder by taking that circle in the opposite direction, so rolling backwards now. Excellent. All right, and then coming back to center with your chin at the center. And then up, so you can take your hands behind your head. Let's scoot forward just a little bit. We're interlacing our hands behind so we can support the arch of the neck. And then here, press your head into your hands. Lift the gaze up toward the ceiling. So we have our eye movement coming with us. We're looking up. And then exhale, we'll lower the chin down. round our shoulders and see if we can draw those elbows in a bit. We don't have to hunch too much here, but we'll go again. We'll inhale, roll it back. We want a nice arch for the upper back and a nice stretch for the front of the throat. And then we'll exhale and roll it forward again. Good. So here we go. Tucking down, chin lowering. Maybe those elbows roll together. And inhale, we'll take it all the way back. Here, we'll let the head be heavy, strengthening those sphenia muscles. Good. And then right through center, nice strong posture. We'll take our arms and extend them long. Palms down, we'll open and close our fingers. Get the circulation flowing to the fingertips. Stretch that connective tissue. So we've got our feet flat on the floor, knees straight ahead, toes pointing straight ahead, and then we'll flip our palms up and open and close fingers this way. Good job. Just want to move around in the joints there. Let's go into the wrist, circling around in a circle while we push through each finger. Just keep rolling, rolling, rolling those wrists. Good. Now we're going to go the other way, but take it up and overhead. So go all the way up toward the ceiling. Tall, reach, reach, reach. Good. And then exhale, reverse the direction, and we'll take them all the way back down again. All right, very good. And shoulder roll. Excellent. So oftentimes people come to yoga because they have back issues. I would say probably the second most common reason is shoulder issues. A lot of us tend to have shoulder issues, especially females. We will get frozen shoulder oftentimes with the loss of estrogen when menopause comes along. But we can do things to help keep our shoulder girdle lubricated, releasing the synovial fluid, breaking up connective tissue. All of that will help. So we want to come forward away from the back of our chair and sitting nice and tall. So we don't hit the back of the chair, just make sure you're forward, you're not right at it. And we're going to work the 4 points of this left shoulder joint first, and then we'll come over to the right side. The first thing is to create a little bit of tension here using our levator scapula. It's the muscle that raises the shoulder up. So we'll take that left shoulder up to the ear, really give it a good squeeze, a lot of tension in the shoulder, and then roll it back. Good. So lift up and roll back. 2 more like that. Really squeeze it up there, relax it, and again, lift it and relax it. Nice. Now, we want to also work with the rotator cuff. So I want you to come into a 90-degree angle with this left arm, and it's as if you have a teacup in your left hand. Keep that left shoulder rolling back and down, if you will, and then externally rotate, keeping the elbow at the rib cage. So come forward and then externally rotate. Good. So you've got the palm up the whole time and pulling back, feeling that rotator cuff. Good. And one more time, pull that thumb back. Excellent. Now, taking the palm, well, facing forward, we'll turn it backwards, roll that shoulder forward, and then come back in. So that internal rotation, good. The palm is flipping, the shoulder is rolling back in its socket, and then forward. So we're really getting some nice space in the shoulder. Good. We'll do that one more time. And we've got rhomboids back there in the rear deltoid. Okay. Now, this time the palm faces in. I just want you to reach down toward the floor and then come to neutral. Really pull it down, like you want to touch your fingertips all the way down to the floor. So we're getting even more space between the ear and the shoulder. Good. All the way down and back up. One more. Okay, now we're going to try to do all of them. So the first one is to shrug up. We're going to open to the side. Actually, let's go down and then forward. So I'm mixing up the number here. 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Up, back, down, and forward. Now, once you get all 4 points, go ahead and start to smooth into them. and you don't need to exaggerate each one, just let it flow organically. Arthritis sets right into these ball and socket joints. The shoulder is no different than the hip. And really the magic age when arthritis starts is about age 50. That's when it shows up in most of us and we start to feel it, right? And we know we have to move into those spaces, but how do we do that and keep our joints lubricated? And this is a really good one. All right. Now notice this left shoulder probably feels lower than the right. We can equal that out by doing the same thing to the right shoulder. But we don't want to move the left shoulder anymore. This one's going to remain still. We'll isolate all our movement on the right side. So this crunches first and we release it. Good. Crunch. And you can roll it back if you like that, especially if you find you round forward. Maybe go ahead and roll that back in its socket. Good. And we'll take that one more time. Excellent. So that's the levator scapula, which can get very tight if we're slouching for hours at a time. Something what will help counterpose that kyphosis is taking the teacup back to the side, opening up not only that rotator cuff, but the pec minor muscle that can get so short it pulls us forward permanently. So this one, you're just retraining your brain to tell the shoulder to go back and down, not just forward and up. Good. Only working in a comfortable range of motion if we have rotator cuff issues. Nice. Now we're going to go down. So you're going to pull down toward the floor and then come back to neutral. Pull it down. Really make that space. Take your fingers as low as you can. Imagine someone's pulling your fingers down toward the floor. Good job. And one more. And then we tuck it forward, that internal rotation, and then the palm comes back up. So you're going to round it and then come up. So basically you're just rolling that shoulder head forward and then back into place, so that those upper back muscles get a nice release. Very healthy range of motion for all 4 points of the shoulder. Nice. Now let's go ahead and roll it through all 4 of those points. So up, out, down, and forward. We get to exaggerate all 4 angles, and you might even notice which one feels better. Which one of the 4 feels the best? For me, it's pulling down because this shoulder is higher than the other one. It's always tighter. So I like that pulling down. Which one do you like the best? And then just start rolling around in there. When we release synovial fluid, it goes into the cartilage of the shoulder joint and it's nourishing that joint, cleansing it, lubricating it. We're breaking up connective tissue and adhesions and really trying to get rid of any frozen shoulder symptoms. Now let's go both at the same time. And I want you to feel almost like you're taking a mini cat-cow in that upper back. So you can go rounded in the back when the shoulders go forward and take almost like a cow in the upper back when you squeeze those shoulders back and down. Because we really want the whole shoulder girdle moving forward, up, back, and down. Oh, that really warms up the shoulders, huh? Okay, excellent job. Let's all have some water, because when we're rolling around in there, remember that synovial fluid comes from our water intake. So you can help that by making sure you're drinking water all throughout your day. Make sure you have a water bottle set out just for water. That way you can keep track of it. You might be surprised how little you're drinking. So, all right, our calves, you hear me mention all the time, are very, very important leg muscles. They are the second most important muscle for the heart because, well, scoot back and know why. When we take our feet up, everybody take your feet up, point and flex to your feet. Right away, you can see that calf muscle is moving when we point and flex. And the calf is the pump that takes the blood from our extremities back up to our hearts. So to keep the proper circulation going that we want to have, we want to have nice, strong calf muscles. When we're not using them, they will atrophy. They will get very, very weak. So just pointing and flexing contracts and relaxes that muscle, and that's what a muscle needs to get stronger. So while we're seated throughout the day, we can just point and flex through our feet, right? And then take our legs out a little wider so we have space to roll both ankles in toward our midline. This also is great for circulation, but it helps keep the range of motion nice and fluid in that ankle joint. It will have synovial fluid release just like the shoulder. Let's reverse that direction and take it the opposite way and really work on a nice full circle here. All right, now take the feet to the floor and shake it out a little bit. This also helps our circulation, stimulating the capillaries on the bottom of the feet, pumping everything back up. Just gets the blood flowing. You might feel your heart rate come up a little bit. That's just a little nice cardio effect. The heart is pumping that blood. And so the lungs work more, the heart works more, and that's good for us. Okay, we're going to do one more for our shoulders. We're going to come back to that tray position. Imagining you have a tray in each hand. So shoulders back and down. And this one can be a little complicated. It's meant to be, because it isn't just shoulder work, it's also brain work, right? So there's meant to be a little bit of complexity in the movement. So let's just follow along and do the best we can. We'll go slow and then we'll smooth it out as we go. So we have our palms face up. We're pretending we have tea in our teacups in each hand. We don't want to spill our tea. So while we're moving, both palms stay face up the whole time as best we can. So we're holding up. We're going to take our trays back to the side of it as we did earlier. Now, we're still holding the tea. We're going to take the spiraling motion overhead to where those fingertips almost touch. And then we'll come back around to the start, right? And then from here, we're going to swoop inside and go all the way back where the arms are straight. The palms are still face up. So let's come back to the beginning and watch that movement. So let's go all the way up and around. You can take a back arch here if you like, and then spiral back through to the start. Joints loving this, right? And when we can do this without snap, crackle, and popping, it means our joints are lubricating themselves with synovial fluid. It's a little bit of a brain teaser, so we do it several times. You start with your T, take it up and overhead, turn those fingers in. We'll come retracing back to the beginning, and then arms straighten behind us with those palms still face up. And last time here, nice and fluid. We're just like a serpent, serpentining through very gracefully. The more we do it, the easier it gets. Now we're going to take it out and notice what happens in our shoulder joint when we take our trays to the side. What's happening in the shoulder blade, the scapula, in the back. We really want them squeezing together back there. So take it out and squeeze it, then bring it back in. Last time, squeeze and release. Good job. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Woo! I hope you weren't holding your breath. Sometimes when we concentrate, we hold our breath. We want to make sure we're breathing throughout the whole class. Okie doke. We're going to do some more movement for the upper body. So the shoulders are lubricated, they're warm. We're also going to add in some movement here of the rib cage. We can get quite tight around our ribs, our intercostals, the muscles between the ribs. These muscles are here to open the rib cage when we breathe. They are primary breathing muscles. They assist our diaphragm. Sometimes when we're taking more of a chest breath, these muscles don't work as much. They can get kind of stiff. And then we can get connective tissue in between the ribs and the intercostal muscles. Also, we have oblique muscles and big lat muscles in the back that can get tight. So the more we're moving and stretching in this area, the better we breathe and the better we feel. The less we move, side to side rotation, the more limited we become. And then when that movement's restricted, that just minimizes our mobility in our life. And a lot of the activities we like to do, like driving, becomes not just challenging, but dangerous, right? If we can't turn side to side. So let's scoot forward and find our goddess position with our legs. Actually, we'll have a little bit of water. Okay, drinking that water. So we've got our legs a little wider. You can kind of have your feet somewhat lined up with the legs of your chair, but really just where you feel comfortable. And your knees tracking over your second and third toes. We're going to keep our right arms down by our side, so you can rest that on your thigh or hold on to the chair. The left hand is going to crisscross over to the outside of that thigh bone. Good. We're going to create a rainbow. So let's just watch the left arm come up. We're going to look up at the fingers, reach all the way up, and then like a big arc, reach behind you through your fingertips. Try to reach for the floor back there, like we were doing earlier, stretching the inner arm. Nice. Now we're going to take that all the way up, back through the rainbow arc until you touch back on that knee again. Nice. Good. Now we're going to reach the arm all the way up and back. Good. Now we're just going to this time turn our head to the right and turn our head back to the left. Come back up through the rainbow arc and tap your leg. Good. Now we're going to do it again. So inhale, big reach. We want that elbow nice and straight and the fingers spread wide. So we're moving energy through the spine. Now this time we're going to look to our right, look back to the left. The left hand comes up through the rainbow arc, hanging on to the outside of the leg. This time we lean back, tuck our chin. So we've got a release from the thyroid gland and feel as if you are pulling that left shoulder blade away from the ribs. A big stretch there. Good job. Now let's release. Left hand to the chair. Right hand is going to crisscross over. Right arm is going to lift up toward the ceiling and then back at that arc, reaching toward the floor. Just look at that right hand. We're going to take it up through the arc all the way until it taps that left thigh again. So good for our driving ability. So we're taking our eye gaze up, turning our necks, reaching. We're going to turn our neck even more. We're going to look to the left and then look back at the right. We'll go back up, eye gaze following the fingers through the rainbow arc till it taps that leg. And then here we go again. Inhale, big, tall reach. Good job. All the way through. Looking at the right hand. Now we turn and look over the left shoulder. Look right. Go back through the arc. We're going to hang on to that leg. This time, round your back. Tuck your chin. Good. Breathe into that upper back. We want more pliability back there. It can get super tight as well. Excellent. Now let's come back through center. Take your feet back in front to mountain position. Then we'll have our arms out and overhead. Interlacing our fingertips, we'll flip those hands up toward the ceiling. Good. So big length in the side body. Really reach up through the sides of the waist there. Excellent job. And then release those hands to your lap and tuck the chin. Good. We've done a lot for the upper body. So let's roll the shoulders around, good. You can even swirl it around a little bit in there and just notice, take those shoulders for a test drive. Notice how they're feeling. We've done a lot for neck and shoulders. And now I'd like to pause the upper body work and let's do a little bit for our eyes. So eye yoga. We want to take our thumb out, our left thumb out. That's going to be our focal point. So we'll look at our fingernail on our left hand. Look at that, or maybe your cuticle, and then draw your eye gaze back to the tip of your nose. So maybe you're cross-eyed there. Look back at your thumb again, and then at the tip of the nose, cross-eyed. And one last time, look at the thumb, really try to focus, see the edges, and then come back to the tip of the nose, really draw it in tight. Good, release, and then we're gonna blink our eyes 3 times. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Right thumb is coming out, same thing. We just wanna look around the edges of the fingernail, that thumbnail, and then draw your gaze really tight in toward the nose, go cross-eyed. Good, and then feel your eye muscles moving back to the thumbnail itself. Bring it back in really tight, look at the nose, and then back at your right thumbnail, see the edges, and then bring it in really tight, cross-eyed, and then release that, and blink again 3 times. 3, 2, 1, and we'll take our palming, and we'll want to make that eye bath, the prana bath. So we rub the fingers, palms together till we get nice and warm here. Let's really speed that up. We want to create some friction in the palm of our hands. Feel it get nice and hot. And then once it's warm, we can place it over our eyes. But first, we're creating a little bit of life force energy, a little bit of prana. Then we go like this, so we have a little ball, and then you can feel that energy, right? It's like a pulse. Now let's move that over our eyes. So like we've got a little ball of energy there, and then you cut that over your eyes. Take a moment and feel that energy go right into the part of the eye that needs it most, whether it be your optical nerve or your retina or your cornea. All those blood vessels relaxing, releasing. Oh, good. Now let's take our hands out in front of us and give a good shake out. I think we underestimate how much tension we can have in our hands when we drive, when we get a little anxious, or we're texting, using Kindles or books or crocheting or knitting, cooking, lots of things we use our hands for. We don't think about having tension there, but we can store it there. So we just want to imagine any tension just flying off the fingertips. We don't need to store that in our bodies. Okay, let's take our arms out to airplane wings now. Sit up really tall. And we're going to turn our bodies into the right space of us for our right airplane twist. Slowly go to the right and gaze behind you. Good. Now let's come back through center. Nice, long, straight arms and straight spine. Now we're going to twist left in our airplane twist, but those knees stay forward. Good. Let's come back through center again. Excellent job. Now we're going to take right here to the cactus arm and roll those elbows back, squeeze the shoulders a little bit. Nice. Now we're going to take our left arm and cross it on top of the right. And our first option is to hug, because not all of us have the looseness of our shoulders or just the ability to take eagle's wrap. This hug is a really nice position to take instead. If you can come into the wrap, maybe the backs of the hands together or your left fingertips in the right palm. Nice. Then we've done so much loosening of the shoulders. Let's try to lift our elbows up. You can look at your fingertips and then lower the shoulders. We're not rounding. Keep your nice tall spines. Just lift and lower. So we get those shoulder blades moving on the socket. Lift one more time and lower without rounding your back, just tall spines hinge forward. So pull forward at the waist a little bit, and then what you can do is tuck your chin. So we're squeezing that thyroid again, and it's so good for our hormones. Good, now we're gonna come back out and take the cactus position again. Pull those elbows back, so we stretch that tight muscle that rounds us forward. And we'll go to the other side, so right arm on top, and feel free to stay right here. If that was really challenging to come in, and sometimes one side we need a hug and the other side we need a wrap, and that's perfect. But if you're staying here, you're just lifting and lowering this way. If you're coming into the wrap, it will be the left fingertips in the right palm, and then we'll lift and lower. Remember, all those arm positions are good, right? You're just going for the stretch. It's not a better or best, it's what fits your body. Now, fingertips up, we're looking at the fingertips, and then lower the elbows, and then again, we're folding forward just a bit at the spine. Spine's still tall, and then we tuck our chin, squeeze that thyroid gland. And then we're squeezing out toxins in our lungs. Such a great pose for our immune system as well as the shoulders. And then we're gonna come back up again and take that cactus. Good job. And release. Good. Shoulder roll up and around. Okay, great job. We're gonna pause for some water, and then we're going to prepare to do some movement for our brains. Excuse me, we'll take our axial extension. That means being pulled, excuse me, to your tallest height. So sitting in mountain position, it's picking fruit. And we find a pattern, and then we switch it up as we go. Right and left sides, sometimes we'll be doing two different things, and that's where the brain really has to get activated, and it makes new brain cells and helps us ward off dementia and Alzheimer's. This is great patterning work, and this keeps us really, really sharp. So we're gonna do a lot of asymmetrical movement, which is patterning. The first one is going to be familiar, and then we'll just kind of work on confusing ourselves on purpose, because if it's really easy, that's not challenging our brains, we won't develop those new brain cells. But don't get frustrated, just be playful with it and do the best you can. First thing, when we're doing our reaches, picking our fruit, we want to be nice and tall. Very hard to reach overhead when we're in a slouch position. All movements come much more fluidly when we're sitting tall and we've engaged our core. First thing, left hand is gonna pick fruit. So left arm reaches up, we bring it in, then we take it out to the side. So we're gonna look at that hand and drop it in the basket. So our hand is face down. And then we'll bring our hand back to our shoulder. Good, we'll do that again. We'll look up to grab it, grab the fruit, and then throw it in the basket. All right, we've got enough fruit, so now we want to give some away. So we're gonna look up, grab our fruit, reach in front of us, give it away to someone in front of you so your palm will be face up. Excellent job. Back to the shoulder. Again, reach up, grab, out in front, we give it away. Excellent. Same thing to the other side. So right hand, look up, reach, grab, look to the side, give it away, or in your basket. Good. And then back to your shoulder. Reach, grab, throw it in the basket. Nice. Now we're going to give away our fruit. So we'll reach, grab, give away, palm is face up in front of us. Excellent. And here we go. We're picking, grabbing, and giving away. All right. Now this time we're going to get a little more complex. The left hand will go to the basket. The right hand's going to give away at the same time. So we want to make sure our hand position is in the right position, as well as which direction the arm is going in. So here we go. We'll reach up, grab, drop, and give away. Now look at your left palm face down, right palm face up. All right, that's what we want. We're going to do that again. Reach, grab, drop, and give away. How are we doing with our hands? We'll try it to the other side. Ready? Reach, grab, drop, and give away. Check our hands. Nice. And back in, same thing. Look up, reach, grab, drop and give away. All right, now this time, both hands are gonna put in the basket and then they'll give away in front. So we'll reach, grab, basket, nice, back to the shoulder, reaching, grabbing, and giving away. We'll do that one more time. Reach, grab, basket, good job. Then reach, grab, and give away. Excellent work, everybody. Now we're going to just take a nice shoulder roll up and around. No, we're doing lots of shoulder work, so forgive me if you're having shoulder issues. But each class is kind of focus on a different body part, so we'll just give those shoulders a little bit of a break. All right, now feet flat on the floor. What I'd like for you to do is roll from your big toe to your little toe. So when you go to the big toe side, you are lifting your pinky toe. And when you roll to the pinky toe side, you're lifting the big toe. That is working the ligaments on the inside and the outside of the ankle so that we're strengthening there. So when we roll our feet, it's really important that we have strong feet, because what happens in our feet absolutely trickles up to our bodies. And that's why I'm really particular about the alignment of our feet when we're in our poses, because when we have our knees and our toes all lined up, our hips are lined up, our shoulders are lined up, it all trickles up. So just be sure that your feet are well planted and they're nice and strong. Now we're going to add arms to the feet. So let's study the feet and flip the palm up as you roll to the pinky toe. So big toes up. When you go to the big toe and the pinky's up, the palms go down. So same feet, it's just we've added on a little coordination there, right? All right, so we're moving from the shoulder, not just the wrist. This is a bit of a challenge, a balance challenge in the chair. Now, as we do this, I want us to add our own resistance. And what helps with that, I always think about moving through water. So imagine you're sitting in water aerobics class and just your head is above water. That would be a lot to push your legs and your arms against water, right? All right, now let's pause, roll our shoulders. This time, we're going to lift our heels and lift our toes. Heel lift, toe lift. So instead of rocking side to side, now we're working back into that calf muscle in the shin. So this is dorsal flexion and extension. And then we're just giving our shoulders a break and we're going to put that same shoulder movement in. But we're pumping the blood back to our hearts. This is kind of like prancing, but instead of alternating, both are going at the same time. Now arms are coming back out. Use your core to help. Flip your palms up and down again with the lift and lower of the heel, lift and lower of the toes. Again, we've got a little bit of a balance challenge in the chair. It may not feel like it, but you're kind of sculpting your whole body here. Not just one area, the whole body is going to be working this next few movements we're doing. Good. We're going to work our cores throughout the next little section. All right. Now, release your arms and your feet. This next one we've done a little bit before, but we're going to really work on it today. We're going to circle our arms in front of us, coming up, and then hinging forward. There's just a little tap of the hands. We come back up, lift our arms, we can look up, and then cross our arms and release. Good, then we build from there. So again, we're gonna lift up, hinge forward, tap, come on up, and release. And continue to flow this way. Just breathe and lower. We wanna try to get our bodies nice and warm. We've worked the shoulders, so prepared for this. Good job. In addition to that, we want to get some movement around that center body. So important, we can get stuck there in the rib cage, as I mentioned. Nice. And we're going to add on to this. So this time, when we take our arms up, the left knee is going to lift. We're going to tap down with the foot, lift that knee back up again, and release. Then right knee comes up, we tap, we lift, and release. Now, this time we're going to take our arms up, twist to the left, then lean down and tap, come up, and release. Arms come up in front, turn right and tap like you're taking a bow, and release. Now let's add that knee in. So when we come up, the knee, left knee comes up, we tap left, left knee goes back and through. Good. Right knee up, twist right, lower, right knee up, and release. We're gonna try that one more time, make sure everybody gets it. So left knee up, twist and tap, left knee up again, release. Good. Right knee up, twist and tap, left knee up, and release. Good. Shoulder roll, back and around. Excellent job. We're going to add on to this now. We're going to take our tap outs. So first we'll just tap out left leg and back in, and right leg. This one is great, as you can tell, for that hip mobility, right? That external and internal rotation using our hip rotators. Just like we have a rotator cuff that rotates our shoulder, we have rotators in the hip as well. So super careful if you need a hip replacement or you have one. But this side to side motion is very healthy for the hip. It doesn't get this very often, but we're going to add it into our little flow. All right, so let's come back to mountain position. Arms come up. You're going to take your leg back. Just come forward, and then the left arm and leg bring us back to mountain. Good. Arms come up. That right leg goes back. Lean forward. Stretch your inner thighs. The right arm and leg come back. Nice. Now we're going to add on. We're going to take the left leg back. Good job. Here. Now we're going to actually come to stand, guys. So from here, you're going to stand up and have a seat. One more time. Stand up. Have a seat. Left arm, left leg comes back. Good. Other side. Take that back. Lean forward. Stretch. Now fix your feet because we're going to stand up. Reach for the ceiling. Have a seat. Good. Come on up and reach. Have a seat. Take that arm and leg back. Excellent. Do you see how we're taking the arm? There's that knee lift and we're taking it back. This time we're going to come forward into a cat and a cow. One more time. Cat, cow, left arm, drag it back with the leg. Right arm and leg back. Good. This time here, lean forward, take your cat and your cow. Good. Again, cat and cow, and take that arm and leg back and around. Excellent work, everybody. Let's pause and get our water here. Well done. Oh, good work. All right. Let's take our legs all the way back. Nice. And a little bit of a goddess position, doesn't have to be too wide, to strengthen our cores. We're just going to imagine we have a little ball and we're going to turn to the side with that little ball. That is working our oblique muscles. We don't have to go fast. If we have vertigo and it doesn't feel nice to turn the head, we look forward and just turn the shoulders and the ribs. If we can, the head follows. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Scooting forward a little bit. Now we're going to take our hands and just bicycle side to side. So there's that knee lift again. We'll keep our legs out in that somewhat of a goddess position and not really rounding our backs a whole lot. You don't have to touch your hand to your head. It's just kind of by the ear and getting a little more rotation. Good job. Now legs in front, we're going to reach for the leg out in front of this. All of this strengthening our cores so we have better balance. Balance comes for our deep core strength. Nice job. Reach and reach. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. And then just little jumping jacks out to the side. They don't have to be big movements. We just want to hop in and out, get those arms moving. Good work. Good way to get the heart rate up without actually having to do a full standing jack. You got it. 2 and 1. Beautifully done. All right. Let's grab our straps. And we'll take our strap around our right toe bone down. All right, now once we get that around the right foot, we'll just relax our shoulders and press through the heel. So we want the heel extending away from us and the toes pulled back toward us. Holding that strap here, just really appreciate the calf muscle, getting a big stretch there, breathe into it. We've used that calf muscle a lot. Now we created strength in it and now we're just stretching it out. And that tones the muscle. We strengthen it first and then we stretch it. Good. Really pull those toes back toward your shin and then the heel reaches toward me. Feel the back of your legs stretching. Good. That creates the strength of our bones when we stretch the muscle. Now the right hand is going to take the strap. We'll open that to the side. Left arm pulls back. We'll look over our left shoulder. That gets more into our inner thigh muscle and into the knee. And rarely do we stretch and strengthen there, but that's really important for the inner knee health. Excellent. And then come back forward. And some of us will need to stay here, but if we have the mobility and can cross the midline, you can keep going and look over the right shoulder. Now, what you're feeling is that outer IT band. Keep pressing the heel away and pull your toes back. That outer hamstring IT band area is very tight. It's meant to be, but we still want to stretch it. So breathe here. Good job. And then relax the leg down. Excellent work. Now, to take our pigeon, you can crisscross one ankle in front of the other, or if you do have that mobility of your hip, you can put your strap on your lap and cross ankle over thigh. Good. From here, we will cradle our baby, meaning lift and lower the knee. You're rolling that femur head in its socket, and you're just gently opening and closing that hip socket. We'll keep this right foot flexed, sitting tall. You probably want to have your ankle down at the other ankle if you've had a hip replacement, right? Just to be on the safe side. And then sitting tall with our hands on our shins. Let's pull our shoulders back, keep our heads neutral, take the chin, just neutral, and then the chest comes forward and down. Oh gosh, a lot of tightness in that hip. Leaning forward releases tight gluteal muscles. So just breathe here. Good. And if you're crossed at your ankle, same thing. You'll just come forward until you feel that nice stretch in the hip. Remembering our long exhales are what helps to release hamstring tension, hip tension, any kind of tightness, right? Because tightness, it causes constriction and pain. We use the longer exhale, we use the shape of the body just to loosen, tight things up. Then we'll have less pain. Good. All right. Now we want to hold that right knee and circle it around in a circle. That will lubricate it. Little movement in the hip, and we'll go the other way. Feel free to hold on to the chair if that makes you feel more secure. Yes, good job. And then relax that foot. Excellent. Now, you still have your strap just handy, but I'd like for you to take your cactus arm and lift your right knee, bend and straighten just a few times. So you're creating that strength in the quadricep, the muscle of independence. Good, and then pointing and flexing that foot all the way down to the floor. And then we'll go to the other side. So left toe ball mound gets the strap. We'll take that out in front of us, relax our shoulders, encouraging the heel to press away from you and the toes to pull back towards you. Good. Breathing tall, tall spines. Good. Nice. We don't want to be really leaning forward or back in the chair. Just try to keep your shoulders right over your hips while you do this. And then we'll take our strap in our left hand, right arm will pull back. And you're getting into that left adductor. Just hold here, keep pushing that heel away from you. Toes coming back towards you. Whenever we release this tension in the inner thigh, it release tension in the knee. Then when we come in front, when you release tension in the hamstring, that release tension in the low back. So you can stay there or crisscross. IT band also feeds into the back. So now the right hand has a strap in the left arm. We just open it nice and wide as far as we can. So we get into that outer hip or that outer hamstring muscle. Excellent. And then release. So you're going to set up either with your ankle to ankle, or you can use your strap and place that up there on your thigh. We can put our straps down and then cradling the baby on the left hip. And then this is just rocking, whether you've got it up here or down at the ankle, rocking the hip gently back and forth. Just finding movement that feels good in your hip, basically. Good. Once we wiggle around in there, then we'll flex our left foot, hold those shoulders back. Think about the heart reaching past your shin. Oh, relax your shoulders. And you really only have to lean forward about an inch or two. And then pause for 3 very long breaths, especially that exhale, nice and long. And if you tend to get distracted by things, close your eyes here and breathe into the sensation of your left tight hip. The breaths are long and slow because those long, slow breaths signal the body that it doesn't have to be tight. It can release. Basically, we're giving the body permission to let go of any tension. Good. Next inhale, we'll come back up. And we want to move through that hip again. So we'll grab the left knee with 1 or 2 hands or the thigh there and roll around in the socket. Do a couple hip circles in both directions. And you can do these every day. Just keep that hip nicely lubricated. And then we'll hold the knee up, sit tall, and take a few leg extensions, maybe 3 or 4 like this. Strength for the quad muscles. Good, and then take it out there, point and flex to the floor, mountain pose. Let's scoot forward just a couple of these windshield wipers side to side. When both knees go right, you can turn your head left and just enjoy this beautiful twisting motion in the hips and in the neck and the shoulders, the knees. Good. Nice job. All right, and then back to center, just pick up 1 foot and stomp and stomp. Good for the blood flow to automatically push up to the heart, just grounding those legs. If you want, you can take a cactus arm, builds that bone density a little. Deluxe version with the cactus arm, right? Really let those legs, thighs, and hip flexor do the work. All right, and then just have a seat all the way back in your chair. Well, we worked a lot today. Well done, we learned some new things, so hopefully your brain is happy, your body's happy, and feeling much better. So arms up and overhead. Good job, exhale, hands to the heart. So good news, next week I will be at our condo, so Monday's class will be via Zoom. So I'll have Monday, Thursday, and Friday of next week online for you all. All right, same times. And you all get 3 classes next week. So That's a bonus for you. All right, take care, everybody, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Mindy.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining.
Thanks.